This next one was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jason and Nissa in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Last night, my better half and I went to the SmackDown house show here in Albuquerque at the Tingley Coliseum.
My God. So all the arenas in the whole country that have been torn down and shuttered and boarded up, and the Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque is still there. Holy mackerel.
The building was opened in 1957 and gives a very old-timey feel when watching wrestling, but in the best way. Natalya and Rousey had a SmackDown Women's title match where Natty came out and tried her best to be a heel. That worked, up until the match started. Natty was going at half speed, and Rousey still couldn't catch up. The crowd started chanting Holly home. Holly's from Albuquerque and trains there.
Oh!
And in between chants, you could have heard a mouse fart. Long story, incredibly boring. What do they do with Rousey? She gets heat, but needs a mouthpiece to speak for her, which is also part of why she can't get over as a babyface, and the in-ring work doesn't seem to have improved in the last 4 odd years. What would you do to right the ship and make Rousey a believable babyface or heel if the in-ring work remains where it is? Or can that ship even be righted? P.S. Slimmed down Gunther is quite the sight to see in person. What an animal.
Oh, God. With Rousey, here's the thing. He said the work hadn't gotten better at the in-ring in 4 years. I would have to think that she paid little to no attention to wrestling training during the time that she wasn't in the ring. She had a baby, right? They had the Browsey acres. She's got the chickens, the pigs. I'm beginning to think that Ronda Rousey did this because she could. She was a fan of Roddy Piper. She got a tickle out of wrestling. Her and her girlfriends used to talk about it. So when she became a megastar in the UFC and the MMA world and got a chance to sign a contract for a shitload of money to go to the WWE, it was probably a big deal at first, but then she got over it because you can tell now there's no interest. She doesn't look like she's having fun. She can't talk. She can't do a promo that draws you into her. Personality is apparently negligible. And the work is not getting any better past what she does, her strong point, which is shoot style stuff that she's comfortable with. And I don't know anything you can do about that at this point. What if they'd recognized it early on, and maybe they did the first run, because she was, what'd they say, the whole first run, she had 30-something matches that counted for house shows and everything. When you've got somebody like that that's a huge name from a complementary sport that can jump MMA to wrestling, anything from Dan Severn to Ken Shamrock to any other shooter in the world, focus on their strengths and try to keep them away from their weaknesses. Don't have them especially do anything that looks hokey, because the whole reason to have the Kurt Angle, the Brock Lesnar, is that you want people to believe them. They're gold medalists. They're UFC champions. They're mixed martial artists. You want people to believe them. And you don't want to see them, if they're not polished pro workers, you don't want to see them for long periods of time or repetitively, because then you can see through it. You want them to be in big matches that get in and get out, use their explosiveness, and still make it seem like a shoot to take advantage of the strong points that they bring to the table. You don't want them doing 20-minute matches. Like I said, don't put Rousey in a fucking battle royal where she has to twist in the wind and figure out how to keep herself busy. You want her focused on one opponent that's probably got some experience so that she can take all the throws and the judo moves. You don't want Ronda Rousey out there, like anybody who can't talk, doing long-winded explanations of shit or a flowery backstory to an issue. You want them to be able to speak and get the point across and get out. if they wanted to make her a babyface, that horse has left the barn, I think, at this point, because not only have the people seen that her work is not necessarily there, but they've seen her disinterest and her bleh promos, and just maybe that's why Vince told her to smile, because she needed to look like she was having fun, because she looks like she's at gunpoint out there. They could easily make her a heel. All they got to do is fucking put Paul Heyman in her corner and let him talk for her, and let her only have 3 or 4 pay-per-view matches a year against only the best girls in the company, Bianca, Becky, Charlotte, whatever. And even then, you'd have to turn most of them, because most of their best girls are heels also. But Heyman could make the little bitch a fucking heel, and no sweat. If she kept her mouth shut, put that demon makeup on, got that stink face, and did some dirty deeds to people, and just let Heyman do the talking and the thinning. He could do the thinning around there for both of them. Then she could be a heel, because people are starting not to like her anyway. But it's sad when you got a name with that much name value and recognition. And at first it was like, oh, like I said, she was a big fan and probably tickled to do it. But I think now it's like, I'm still committed to this. I've moved on in my head. She tends to get fed up and move on with things quickly, doesn't she?
I guess so. I could tell you, in terms of her career regressing, I feel like it's just in the last few months it's gotten really bad. It was okay, she's rusty, she's been gone a little while. The promos have gotten worse over the last few months, and in the ring, remember, she had a few moments that were really good. She wore the karate gi in Saudi Arabia, and she looked pretty good in there.
Yeah.
But boy, I don't want to watch her anymore.
It's just, she doesn't look like she wants to be there, or elsewise she's just, very, very shy and very bleh.